Javier Milei ignites the spirit of liberty in South America. We have one of America's largest banks, even more bullish than some of the hardest crypto degens, and Solana has released its own very interesting Oracle network. We're going to take a look at all this and more on today's Blockchain Basement. We are the bread and butter of all the information that's been swimming across the internet for crypto news.
If you're gonna screw me, at least pull my hair.
Hell yeah. What do you got?
They could start chopping off fingers. They're like, give me your seed phrase, but I don't know it.
Over 2 years, he's made like 17K on Roblox. And he's
What?
Like 12.
You never listen to me, and we must be married. Yeah, well, how much are you investing? $100.
400 to 600,000. The
think it's so
generational signals are now. Now.
You're spread so thin, that's how you get in on Snake. Snake's been my biggest winner.
What is up? Hello and hello all. We got some OGs up on the chat.
Let's go.
New edition, awesome insight. And Morel recovering. Morel had a massive problem happen in the lunchroom just before.
I heard about that.
And Morel, how did it go?
It was actually your booby trap.
It was my booby trap.
It was your booby
I
trap.
did. I got
and
you.
It
What happened?
Came down. I was pulling the ham out, and he set the gravy right next to it, and gravy fell down, hit the freezer door underneath that, blew up, and then fell and hit the floor and fell upside down to where when I picked it up, it was a mess.
Smash the like in remembrance of
was a
our
gravy shower.
Rip gravy. Yeah, I went in there. Johnny said the same thing. I had some gravy first or whatever with the turkey. We had eaten yesterday's leftovers, and Johnny's like, I think we're out of gravy. I'm like, no, we're not out of gravy.
Impossible.
I just had some. It was completely full, and he's like, Morel dropped it all over the floor.
Very sad situation.
He threw you under the bus.
Very
on that
sad.
one.
Shout out to everyone in the chat. Dino Might, nice name. Killed by death. That must have been horrible.
Shake and bake.
Shake and Bake, recently in here. Shake and Bake. Nicole
Elijah
Tater.
Jacobs.
Space Manny.
We had Manawak up in here.
Sack Nasty. That's a fun one to
Sack
say.
Nasty's all over the place, man. He's up in it. Linking with Naz. What's up, fam? What's up, fam? Maybe another chain link, Maxi, like myself. But welcome on. Welcome all. Hope you guys had a fantastic holiday dinner with your loved ones. It was absolutely awesome. We brought the family here and had a whole get together. I think your mom maybe cost me a couple $1,000.
I know. I was trying to tell. I was trying to warn you on the
Yeah.
one wheel. Yeah, she's like, "Oh, you need a one wheel for Christmas." I'm like, I don't know if you need a one wheel. You might need more chain link or more Bitcoin.
I'm in it now.
And I loved when I asked her, I was like, how much are these? Like, I was expecting like 700, 800 bucks. She's like, she took a minute to get out of there. 3,000,
I was just saying,
200.
by the time she's done with it, they're over $3,000 with all the bells and whistles to put on
That
there.
thing is sick though. It
They
goes
are fun.
fast.
They're fun.
It was amazing. But yeah, really good time. Talked to my mom for a while, caught up with everyone. I sent everyone a happy Thanksgiving. Don't be the person that just waits for people to reach out to you.
Speaking
Be
of,
overly
we've got
communicative.
Naomi in the chat. She says, my job here is done. Congratulations, everybody. And let us know your favorite memory from yesterday or what you enjoy on Thanksgiving holidays.
Yes.
Is it the food? Is it like Morel made some awesome mac and cheese, and for me, I love a good mac and cheese on
Tia loved
Thanksgiving.
it too.
Yeah, it was good. Ritz crackers. That was something special. Right
And
there.
Morel, I gotta ask, how do you bake the mac and cheese with the crackers on it already, or do you add them after?
I add them after, and I also saute them in a little seasoning and butter.
Ooh, okay.
Little extra
A little extra.
A little extra fancy there. A little extra fancy. Well, I'm feeling extra happy today. Kind of a slow news day in the beginning of the morning, but honestly, it's been pretty exciting. Josh posted up a link to some breaking news. It looks like Javier Milei is looking to shut down the Central Bank of Argentina and says that it is non-negotiable. So this makes me so incredibly bullish. Look at this thing. Get my face out of the way. This is lovely. Comunicado de prensa. So I don't speak Spanish very well, so I'm not going to go through this. But
I can read it if you want.
Guys, you
City
know,
of Buenos Aires.
you know what the best thing? Look at this.
Oh, you got the chainsaw.
I love that guy.
He's pretty entertaining.
Look at the eyes.
Yeah.
He looks like a werewolf.
Yeah.
He's
He's
just
not
ready
messing
to
around.
take out absolute terror in tyranny. So love to see this type of stuff happening. I feel like if we see more countries, it's interesting to see like El Salvador, Argentina start to break away. Brazil had that moment with Bolsonaro. It's going to be interesting to see if that movement can really pick up steam again in Brazil, which I do think it will. Just takes time, and it's an ebb and flow of cultures and things like that. So absolutely excited to see if we can have Mr. Javier follow through on this non-negotiable shutdown of the central bank. And, I know it sounds outlandish and stuff, and people are like, how can you possibly fight this? It's absolutely possible. It's not going to be easy. And, if we have a system that's beholden to a central bank, then it cannot properly govern its people with good conscience. It's all monetarily based. All of their decisions will be monetarily based. And central banks will be the beneficiaries of that movement if they are controlling the government. So it's nice to see these things separated into the two. Now the next big piece of work is to see if Javier Milei specifically starts talking about other types of currencies that can be backing their fiat currency. Hopefully, we're going to be looking at some Bitcoin conversations. I mean, is that too much to ask here, Josh? Am I shooting for too high in thinking that Argentina might look at El Salvador as a good option for how they're setting things up?
Yeah, there's actually already been multiple interviews where Javier spoke about other projects like Ethereum. He hasn't mentioned too many altcoins. His focus is primarily Bitcoin. What I'm really paying attention to is how he just talks about the economic hitman policies that the United States has embarked on them. They still owe $44 billion to the World Bank, but they are completely destroying their central bank, which is massively corrupted. And to be honest, there's an extent to every central bank is really corrupted, but they're moving back towards pro-US dollar. They'll be issuing that as their currency, and he's talked a lot about Bitcoin. So what we want to watch for is going to be really, is he going to legalize Bitcoin as a tender there? Because he is very anti-communism, he's very anti-CBDC, and he's very anti just control over a corrupted elitist group. So I'm excited for it. It's bullish. It's bullish.
It's definitely bullish. It's definitely showing a trend of leaders around the world also stepping up and understanding Bitcoin, understanding. I don't know if we're going to play it, but I saw a clip of Javier Milei actually explaining the cotillion effect on the news and on the media, which basically loosely is the concept. He who is the furthest from the money printer loses, which obviously we've seen over time with inflation and all that sort of stuff, how it's going on and how the further you are down the line, the less impact you get when they print more money. It's good for the politicians. It's good for the big banks. It's good for wholesalers and people that produce at large, big companies, big business. But the everyday 9-to-5 guy, it isn't great for. Oh, you have it, right?
Yeah, I have ultimate power here. Check this out.
Let's hear it. Yeah,
I'm going to be able to. All right, I'm turning the audio on. Going in. Get this box out of the way. Okay.
La inflación es pobreza, efectivamente es pobreza. En la teoría económica eso se llama efecto Hume-Cantillon. Es decir, el que recibe último el dinero que sale de la imprenta es el que pierde. ¿Por qué? Porque ¿quién es el que primero recibe el dinero? El político, para gastarlo. O sea, el que primero se beneficia con eso es el político porque recibe dinero de hoy a precios de ayer. Ahora, ¿qué pasa cuando empieza a gastar? Suben los precios minoristas, después suben los precios mayoristas, después suben los salarios. ¿Quién es entonces el que recibe último, el que pierde? Por eso, cuando vos explicabas, claro, cuando vos te dieron el aumento ya te mataron durante X meses antes. Por eso siempre llega de atrás, el trabajador siempre llega de atrás. Y al darse esa situación, es que te cae, en esa transición que cae el salario real, a vos te están matando.
Yeah. Wow. That pretty much sums it up. And what we're starting to see is that trend happening all around the world where it's kind of been, I mean, it's not really a secret. It's been known, but all of a sudden now you're starting to get major world leaders talking about this because it helps them politically, coming out of the Libertarian Party and coming back towards change, towards less regulation, less government oversight and overreach. But speaking of government overreach, one of the things that's going to be interesting here, Josh touched on it earlier when he was talking about they're going to be eliminating the Central Bank of Argentina, or at least proposing to eliminate the Central Bank of Argentina. They're moving back towards the US dollar. El Salvador, as previously referenced, did make Bitcoin legal tender, and when they did, the IMF didn't necessarily respond well to that.
Right.
And there's there is a pretty close tie right now between the IMF and Argentina. They actually just gave them approximately 44 billion US dollars. I think it was sometime in 22, not that long ago. Basically trying to help Argentina stabilize some of the issues they were going through. So if the IMF has got major loans to Argentina, and then Argentina is talking about getting rid of central bank, is it going to get replaced with one that just uses dollars? Like one of the larger central banks that one's like the IMF and what's the other one?
Bank of International Settlements.
Bank of International Settlements.
Yep.
Will it start working with some of their banks? That's one thing that might sound great in theory, but then not work out so great in reality. That's one thing you want to keep up to. What up, Scotty Swing? Welcome in. And I did see Granny's Garden hop in here too, and GM Clay.
I think what's most interesting about Javier is just the implementation that the media has pursued against him. Like he's like some fascist authoritarian figure, a far right MAGA Republican.
They
and then you just played the clip of the most socialist thing you could ever say, which is get rid of the elitists and politicians and give it all to the workers. So I was like, it's just a clear sign that they're already facing these repercussions from the mainstream media. And so you want to really pay attention to, okay, hey, is the United States actually going to come in here and be a good thing for these markets, or are they going to continue to just eat them up and force them into just more and more debt, which is why they need to go with Bitcoin. We need to see Bitcoin. And if they don't go with Bitcoin, I don't think Javier will actually change much at all there. It'll just become an economic natural resource hub for the United States to consume off of them. So,
well, and Christine Lagarde came out. She's from the EU. And she was really railing hard against Bitcoin. She was highlighting how her son bought the top of the Bitcoin cycle and lost 60% of his portfolio when he learned his lesson. So I can tell that there's still some resistance, but within there, and it's an interesting thing to think about. Will the IMF become, Argentina's new enemy? Should this all occur? And I hope so, because I'm here for it. I don't want peace with that or parasitic organization. Absolutely. So I don't think that it needs to exist. I don't think the backstops of just printing entire economies into oblivion and then keeping them on their knees by providing just cheap enough goods to keep them dependent is a healthy model to sustain. So another thing that's tough to sustain is the Bitcoin pump. And we might be taking a break here, folks. Jim Cramer, check this out.
As I break my neck.
Yeah. Look at this. Jim Cramer urging viewers to just buy Bitcoin now.
Boy, come on. Why'd you have to kill the fun, Jimmy?
I know. I just had to hit the brakes here for a minute. Okay. So we've had some really great runs. Over the last week, we've had some moves. Okay. So I'm going to bring this up. It's mooning here. So if you're in on this MAGA coin, take profits, for God's sakes. I mean, this thing tripled or quadrupled in a very short amount of time. I don't think that it's going away anytime soon, unless it rugs. I mean, but guess what? If you're in and out, you're not getting rugged upon. It's mooned since we talked about it a week or a week and a half ago. So yeah, just putting that out there, reminding everyone, meme coins don't last forever. And then this pump, I mean, we had some really exciting momentary action on Bitcoin. I'll get my face out of the way here. So this just kind of looks like a middle finger. Now that all the dust settled. Yeah. Unbelievable. It's given us the juke move here. In general, though, this month doesn't even look like the shelf that it used to. It didn't. This used to be just a flat shelf we were sitting on. This is the monthly. Really good over the month.
Looks like just up only.
Yeah, well, I mean, you can go back to that month. It makes it real easy to see. You can see it making those big moves up to that 38K, trying to break 38.2, really. You can see those spikes up. Most of the time, what you're seeing is shorts getting wiped out there. So what happens is as it gets to the top end of that range, you get a lot of your traders that are watching, and they see those pumps coming in and they try to take shorts on those pumps. And when those shorts get overfilled, basically it's easy for a whale to come in, tick it up just a little bit, wipe out those shorts. It goes back up and then pulls back and kind of settles back into this range. So I've been telling people, we've been talking about in the Discord at BitLab Academy, that 38.2 number, I was hoping it could close above that today. It wicked up there. It's not, obviously it's not looking like it's going to close there right now. There's still a little bit of time left, but right now it's still very, very strong, strong resistance right there at 38.2. But if we can break through it, it's a quick move to 40. It's a quick move to 42. But the more times we try to break through and get rejected, I don't know if we're waiting. You know, there are a lot of options that were expiring today, so that could be part of some of this volatility. It's not just weekend, but month end. So getting into December, I think right now, obviously with the holidays and stuff, things are a little bit off. But if we get into December and keep this positive movement up, I do think, you know, there's some chance that it does well at the end of this year. However, timeline wise, if you're a student of just the Bitcoin cycles and the 4-year cycle and the timeline, we are a little bit ahead of pace. We're probably due. I know. You know, unfortunately, we're probably due for a bit of a pullback. You know, so don't get too. Not saying. I mean, I'm feeling. Look, I always lean bullish, and then these things happen, and I get overly bullish and overly optimistic. So I'm just trying to check myself in the sense of like I'm ready for it to run to 42, 44, 45 real quick. Yeah. But timeline wise, we are. You know, we should go back down and retest. You know, at least 35,
Check
32, 28.
I got exactly what you're talking about here. There we go.
Okay.
And this is that volume node that we have that's pretty strong.
Yep.
Right at 35,000. It's like 34.6 is exactly where the peak of the volume node is. So as long as we can hold that line, I mean, because you can see the volume goes down as the price historically had went up.
But where's that gap? If we drop back below that gap, like if it go
through
down,
here?
down, right there.
Bam, that'd be 30K right
30,
at the beginning of where the node builds up. The real beefy one,
28.
Yeah, the real beefy one's there at 27.5.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, pretty exciting stuff to see. Just keeping it level-headed. We're heading in the holiday season. You know, there's lots of hot new coins coming out, and yeah, you know, it's been a really kind of exciting mini altcoin season beginning early, like you're saying. But you know, when things get kind of too extra exciting before the halvings even happened, then you got to watch out for those things pulling back.
Well, and Web3 and me says, I'm afraid to be out of the market right now. And that's a really, you know, this is when FOMO really starts kicking in. There's some people that have been trading in the office. They made some good trades. They're on the sidelines right now, hoping and waiting for it to come back and retest before piling back in. But if you are in that situation, yeah, it does feel like, man, this thing can run away from me really fast. Yeah. So again, don't let your emotions take control. Stick to your plan. If you've got a plan, I would say stick with it. But for me, with crypto, like I said, I'm a bullish bias. I always prefer to be in the market than out of the market, especially when we're in a noted long-term uptrend. So also, my other advice is don't overthink it. Don't overtrade it. You know, accumulate. If you weren't accumulating all through this past year, I would imagine most of you guys here in the basement have been. We've been doing pretty well with our picks down here. So, but if you're not, don't, you know, just accumulate on dips. You know, put a little bit in when you get a chance, and the next couple of years is when a lot of the fun is.
Well, and like what you're talking about is perfect here. Check this out. So this is from DeFi Investor. The stablecoin market cap is definitely sharply rising out of its negative realm that it spent the longest time yet in crypto history in. So now stablecoin market cap increased by $5 billion just over the past 30 days. So now we're definitely seeing these inflows, and I was looking at kind of the broader scope Glassnode information about that earlier. Now I want to zoom in on that because it seems like it's heating up, but the amount of upward action we've had recently just makes me feel like we're going to take a calm time. So I am watching for just a little bit of a leveling out. I had this from Tech Dev for liquidity cycle bottom over a year ago, and this has been part of where things accelerate quickly. And this is just a quick reminder of this. Overall, you always have the price. And yeah, I mean, this liquidity signal that he's showing here is showing that it's getting ready for a major bounce upwards. And that stablecoin inflow is kind of just more information and confluence of seeing that. But, you know, it's a volatile situation. So you're going to have big red. But you know what I thought was interesting, TJ? The big crash that we had last week, it wasn't a big crash, but it was a big break, right? And altcoins only fell by like 8%. Like Bitcoin fell by like 2 or 3%. And we usually saw like 15, 20% losses in the altcoin realm. The altcoins cared a little less on that last fall. So like, you know, that's what I was just watching for early signs that altcoins are healthier than we might be taking them credit for.
I think what we're seeing there partially is when you get, you know, like if you guys know the tiered system when it goes like Bitcoin, Ethereum, altcoin, and then kind of ladders backwards with the bull market. To what DeFi Investor was saying, it can happen a lot with stable coins, right? Where you see Tether prints $5 billion, you know, you see a big Tether print, you know, which is really, that's dollars getting into the ecosystem when you see that happen. Generally, you'll see them flow into Bitcoin first and then into altcoins. But what I think we're starting to see here now is for the majority of this past year, 2023, people, the whales, institutions have been heavy in Bitcoin and Ethereum, right? And we've seen Bitcoin and Ethereum been top performers. Yeah, we've seen some altcoins pop off, but I would say alts as a whole, you know, we're losing their dominance to Bitcoin, that sort of thing. Now we're late in the cycle. People are starting to prepare for 2024, 2025. And I think when we see Bitcoin move or Ethereum move, like you were saying, when it pulls back, you see less pullback because I think people are looking for spot positions in altcoins now. This is when people are starting to hard accumulate other layer ones, other top performers like Chainlink, other things that are, again, we're seeing a lot of movement in the DeFi sector. You guys have heard me talk about it a lot, Thorchain and Rune. Actually, another one we might touch on today also plays in DeFi, plays in real world assets. So as those narratives continue to round out, as people get more and more bullish on altcoins, it's not alt season yet. You know, don't jump the gun here on. He's always talking alt season, but it is altcoin accumulation time, and it has been for quite some time. And when you see the big dogs, oh hey, we have enough Bitcoin, we have enough Ethereum, we're prepared for the spot ETF, we're seeing the GBTC discount close rapidly. That's because a lot of people have already accumulated those things. Now it's time for them to build positions in, say, Avalanche, say Solana, say Cardano, say, you know, a variety of other projects like that. That's why you're seeing that right now. You're not seeing the altcoins correct as hard because I think a lot of people, probably even retail, a lot of people here are accumulating their favorite altcoins right now to be prepared for the post-halving rip. So.
Yeah, I was happy. Josh asked me this morning about my thoughts on Pyth, this new Solana, you know, Oracle. It's a competitor to Chainlink, obviously. But I am very open to competition in this, you know, realm. You have to be open to that. That's what makes the best products. And this is kind of new news. It's coming out here. I'll get my face out of the way. Solana and its Oracle Pyth network to play a big part in crypto bull market here is kind of like my thumbnail. This is the inspiration, man. This guy's just, you know.
He looks intense.
Yeah, very intense. The layer one chain, Solana, obviously coming out with the Pyth network this week. They're talking, it could be the Oracle to rule them all. I think it's going to be a few good Oracles that'll find their spots in the next bull market, you know, but you're not going to have hundreds of them. On the other hand, Solana leaves Ethereum for dead when it comes to speed of transactions. Just talking about some of the advantages it does have. And, you know, we've even seen Grayscale. So I think it was like some kind of trust for Solana that also had like that massive inflow. What was it? Like they were selling, was it G-Sol? Was it G-Sol that it was? I believe it was.
It was a minute ago. I don't remember. We look at too much data every day.
I know. But they had
some ridiculous amount of inflows, and I think it beat maybe Ethereum for that week or something by like 10. I think it was 15 million, 15 to 20 million.
Yeah, you're right. G-Sol. Yeah, Grayscale Solana Trust. Yeah,
that's what it was. Okay, cool. Yeah, so you know that really made me feel good about Solana just being institutionally interested. I think institutions are going to be interested in positions in Solana. And seeing them come out with their own Oracle, something to compete with Chainlink, is honestly something that I'd feel like getting into because I've missed getting super, super cheap Solana. I was buying super cheap Avalanche and Chainlink. But now that I see another kind of project like this, I got to looking at it, and Josh noted something good. It came out with like a $750 million market cap. So definitely strong right out of the gates. I'll pull this up. I think it auto-populated on my CoinGecko, CoinMarketCap last week, and I didn't know what the heck it was. Here it is, though. 7-day chart is basically all the information we have on it.
It's brand new. Look at, this is the all. So you can see, look at the token generation event. It obviously came out at a really high price there at looks like 54 cents. You know, you see massive sell-off from the private equity investors, not necessarily surprised, but how quickly it's recovered from that is quite interesting to me. It's basically back up to where it did, you know, if it launched at 54, you know, people took massive profits. Now it's sitting back up at 51, so it's almost fully recovered.
All within like 3 or 4 days.
Yeah. So whoa, he's in there slashing it.
BJ is in the BJ. Oh,
BJ's on the board.
He's in the
computer. Spirit.
He's in the computer.
That's hilarious.
I love it.
One thing that's interesting to me, there you go. One thing that's interesting to me about Pyth, you guys hear us talk about finding the second and third, fourth competitors in a niche, right? So decentralized Oracle Oracle. Oh, look at that. See, here's who's behind it. Jane Street, one of the biggest ones in the game. Binance.
This one, Wintermute, too.
Wintermute, yeah.
The CEO is Michael Cahill, and I was doing a little bit of research into this day. If you go on his LinkedIn, he's endorsed by a lot of these companies. So a really cool way to kind of get ahead and see where the partnerships are. This is an ultimate institutional play. It's Wintermute, Jane Street. And for you guys that don't know, Wintermute's actually one of the ones that I followed a lot with like Binance and the one that's going to be doing a lot of the back end liquidations. That's how they play in these. But they're also endorsed by the vice president of JP Morgan and Chase. So that's Michael Cahill that's running that. And this is an example. This next cycle, this new era that we're entering into, it's no longer this free Cowboys Wild West. It's the big players, and they're endorsed by the bigger players. So that's why it's launching at $700 million.
Yeah, Fade and TradeFi says it's super fast. So if you guys don't know, Oracle, obviously it's bringing the price feeds in. It's what you need to get real world data into smart contracts so that way DeFi can exist. One thing that was interesting to me when I looked at it, we saw synthetics moving a little bit. I think it was last week. Maybe it was, no, it wasn't this week. It was last week or the week
the last
before.
few months.
Synthetics has been ripping, and they actually this is due in part to Pyth Network. They're a total collaboration between both projects there. So Synthetics uses Pyth Network for their Oracle solution. This is also right there in that institutional wheelhouse, doing derivatives and perpetuals with smart contracts. You can see it had a huge run up in 2021, then obviously corrected like the rest of the market and has started upwards again. So Synthetics, another quality one to watch. And if you want to get into this ecosystem, Synthetics and Pyth, work hand in hand with Solana. So again, this is when we talk about niching down within an ecosystem, these are some of the strategies that we're talking about. Looking, okay, what's going to be a strong narrative? Oracle's real world assets, helping get real world assets onto blockchain and getting that interoperability happening. Chainlink crushing it, leader in that space. We expect it to do very, very, very well. Drew and I were talking before the show. We were fantasizing about where our Chainlink bags could be by the end, but finding the number 2, the number 3 competitor that will fall right into that narrative is a very good strategy, as well as niching down into the ecosystem like we've talked about a lot. Hey, if you like Solana, look at Render, look at now Pyth, look at some of these other projects in the ecosystem that are getting good user activity, good volume activity, good loan to value, liquidity, and all that sort of stuff. That's how you can find, look at those metrics, because that's how you can find the quality projects before they moon rather than after.
Yeah.
So.
And, something else I was looking at is they had a really successful airdrop. Pyth had a really successful airdrop. So they have a lot of happy people.
That comes with playing with the institutions.
Yeah, I mean, if SIBO and them all back that and messed up.
Yeah.
Yeah. It works. I mean, if it works, it works. And then people are left happy. Some of the airdrops worked too well on meme coins when we were still in crab market, and they got eviscerated. Everyone just dumped the airdrop and was never spoken about again. So, you got to keep that in mind. But Pyth, that's a definite potential move. It's something I want to get exposure to. Something to just help juice the bags. It's been interesting. We had something that's just on the overscope interesting to me is the idea that Morgan Stanley is coming out with kind of a more bullish outlook on Bitcoin than I hear even a lot of crypto, Twitter people looking at a Bitcoin rally to beyond its all-time high by or just after 2024. Now, I mean, I really feel like that's accomplishable. It's just hard to think about, but if we're only we're less than half a way up to our previous all-time high. So it's really not too far away. And now I'm all distracted by holidays and making sure everything is done for the kids and all this stuff. The holidays move faster than lightning for me. So keeping this time frame of April in mind, that it's coming up shortly. And, I'm doing as many entries into positions as I can now before things start to really heat up. And the prices that we're looking at right now are going to be much different in the middle of next year. So I am keeping an eye out on that. But also within the banking sector, I've been railing about UBS for a while, ever since the Swiss government forced them to absorb Credit Suisse, both systemically important banks that were cannibalizing each other. Now UBS has front-end reports that it's freezing some withdrawals due to liquidity challenges. This just broke. So I am going to be watching this. This is information that was just put up this morning from a couple users of the bank. Hopefully they didn't put too much information down there. But yeah, this is just an overall sick system. The UBS absorbing Credit Suisse's unrealized losses and then holding them into these new interest rates and those refinancings that happen with it are putting that bank under stress. And that's why I feel like banks in general are more open to Bitcoin, is just to help their underwater bags already. You know what I mean? I feel like it's like $1.7 trillion they're already underwater in mortgage-backed securities and things of that nature. It's funny, you never hear Congress really grilling Gary about nearly destroying our banking system through these securities that he regulates. But, seeing the sickness continue to roll out for banks like UBS is just further confirmation that I'm on the right path here. And we have power to take our own money into our own hands now. This is a tool that hasn't been had for humanity, I don't think, ever, really. To actually be able to completely pull your money that you've made, you've put your work in, it's turned into whatever fiat, but you can literally pull that away from the system and it still has value in the real world. This is the first time in human history that that's happened. So you see situations like Turkey where the price of Bitcoin is well beyond its previous all-time high because people are fleeing out of their hyperinflationary situation. So
yeah, and for the people that say, well, we had gold, we had silver, we had precious metals, it's like try taking a gold bar through an airport. You can't. They'll confiscate it instantly and they will take it and you'll never get it back. Try taking $10,000 of cash. That is your maximum. And if you take that much, you have to fill out paperwork and literally KYC and do everything there and say why you're using it, what you're spending it on and everything and track all of those funds. So you have no really sense of freedom, and seeing the self-sovereignty come back to Bitcoin is why it's so important. And these banks, like you mentioned, dude, they have a massive cascading effect lining up right now. Is it going to happen to where everybody says it's going to collapse? Probably not. This is the thing where they continuously kick that can.
They're just going to cook the books.
They're going to cook the books. They kick the can down the road. And what's happening in China is happening in the United States. They have a failing real estate market. We have a failing banking market. And the whole world relies on both of these systems. So it's like, we can't let them fail. We're going to continue to print more. And that's why we Bitcoin. So.
And we saw Rostin Benham standing right next to Janet Yellen last week, celebrating, dancing on the grave of CZ, as I'm sure they would, the Treasury Department and the CFTC. Yes.
Bananas.
Actually, it's bananas. Did you see when she corrected him and he was like, actually, it's bananas. You're like, what are you doing, woman? It's bananas. And can I have an $800 billion loan really quick? I need it for the Middle East.
Business
but,
reasons.
I could use an $800 billion loan.
I know, right? That must be nice.
Small loan.
That must be nice.
Take 1% of that.
I am highly suspect of the CFTC, though, and it's from Rostin Benham's upbringings in the ESG narrative, absolutely brought up by Stabenow. So I'm watching what they're looking for out of our access to crypto, and this is the U.S. Commodity Futures Trading Commission I'm talking about in the CFTC, stating that it plans to continue to aggressively pursue cryptocurrency exchanges that violate trading laws and will not tolerate any use of VPNs or any other behavior that circumvent KYC rules, and will not stop pursuing non-U.S. entities. Man, they're going full Team America, World Crypto Police on it. And, it's interesting to see. So the Futures and Commodity Commission, their best argument against Bitcoin was the environmental impact. Now it has like a 54% environmentally sustainability rating, right? Whatever that means. But beyond that, we have little places in the United States that are actually starting to advertise how awesome Bitcoin mining is for the infrastructure. Josh was talking about infrastructure upgrades this morning on the live stream. Here in Georgia, CleanSpark helped upgrade the electrical infrastructure immensely for throughput capabilities and basic overall upgrade of the system, because with Bitcoin mining comes value, and with that value, you can use it to upgrade your infrastructure and make it more powerful and better operationally sound for the entire community. We have this come out of Utah. I've covered this in a pre-record. I can't remember. It was like the power of Bitcoin mining or power of data. But it's highlighting the environmental benefits of Bitcoin. The main thing about it is it's in the front page of the Salt Lake Tribune. And it's talking about energy from landfills used to fuel Bitcoin mining and clear the air. It's a double win for them. I know that they're very focused on sustainable measures out in Salt Lake City. I'm from Boulder, Colorado. I'm surrounded by gigantic fields of solar panels and huge mass amounts of wind turbines chopping birds in half and everything. So I've been there. I see how hard they've continued to push for this narrative, and to see this stuff on the Salt Lake Tribune just absolutely sets the stage. I mean, they're going to be mining Bitcoin with our poop in a few years. You know what I mean? It's true.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's going to happen. It's going to happen.
Any wasted energy. People don't realize how much wasted energy. They're called BTUs, British Thermal Units. And it's in everything, guys. When you're riding like a bike at like a, well, hopefully everybody's, working out there. But when you're riding one of those like pedal bikes, it's creating this energy, and that energy is just being wasted. You can put, you can literally farm all this energy in every single way. When all the light that is in your lights above you, 99% of that, well, that's like 60% on the low end. But what it takes to get there, the majority of that is wasted through like poor infrastructure. It could be your human waste. It could be like you're flushing a toilet. It could be landfills. Everything produces energy, and this is like the market that Bitcoin accesses, and it's insane. It's actually insane.
I love seeing it happen. People are Bitcoin.
Sin Diesel says making Bitcoin a true shitcoin. That's hilarious. That's awesome.
Why do we need all these other ones? Like,
that's awesome. Yeah.
My wife ran well, she still does, kind of sustainable fashion company. We know exactly how hard it is to repurpose clothing to actually make it truly sustainable and not just get the carbon credit stamp on your product. It's a lot that you have to go through to actually make a renewable environment. But I see Bitcoin as being an integral part of doing so on many different levels in our society. We're just beginning to see the very first stages of it. So yeah, it's pretty fun to see. This is I got some random stuff I want to look at. This was fascinating to me. I want to do the time lapse of Costco in relevance to pumpkin pies.
What the?
Because this fascinates me, this kind of stuff. This is the beginning of the Costco stocking session for pumpkin pies. Let's go. We got, slow traffic. People start realizing, opening the doors.
Holy cow.
And look at this, the absolute, the power of decentralized pumpkin pie need is amazing. Like, look how fast. And they can't even stock it back quick enough. It just goes. And then there you go. Just like toilet paper time, when we all ran out of shit tickets because everyone needed them all at the same time. It goes quick. So, I hope that you all had some pumpkin pies. I also like this graph. I love these. This is a visual representation of Blockbuster, and it really hit me in the feels this weekend. This is Blockbuster's stores, absolutely killing it. They're up to about 1,200 stores all over the place. This was the thing to get your media from at a point. Like before we had the ability to download and, then Napster came along and changed the game for music, but it had a consistent growth. And we fast forward, look at this. It's absolutely all over the place. And then quickly diminishes from 2011, Netflix. 2012, Netflix. And it's just almost extinct now, man. It's just like, God,
and that goes to show the adapt or die mentality, right? If you try to stick with something that maybe it's been working for a long time, you can see new technology coming along and you don't adapt, which is what we've seen from a lot of the traditional finance out there right now, it's going to get wiped out. And we are seeing traditional finance trying to adapt to blockchain and DeFi now. The question is, will they do it fast enough? All sorts of decentralized applications are really getting better and better. And I think it'll be really interesting through this next cycle to see how well DeFi does compared to the new centralized products. Obviously, there is a lot of speed that you can do with centralized financial products, and speed does matter when you're dealing with finance. But if you can match that similarly with decentralized products, like we're seeing with things like INJ, like we're starting to get there with things like Rune. There was another one I was looking at today. I think it was called Chain Flip. It was another one that just launched today. Yeah. I think
Chain Flip.
Yeah, it's very similar to Rune and Thorchain. It's another. I don't know if they'd consider them competitors. I think it's liquidity provider. Literally launched today. Token generation. That's why you're not going to get much.
Let's
much
pull this
data
up.
there,
I want to see this though.
This is another one I'm watching. Flip. Again, it's actually touted by Rune themselves. So it'll be interesting to see how that continues as time goes on. But I'm watching this one right now too. This is one of the deep picks. Just launched today. So
yeah, this is it's got a $100 million market cap. Let's pull this back up here. I'll punch myself in. Let's look at this. Got a $100 million market cap it's coming out with. Total supply 90 million. Interesting.
So it's not a huge supply.
Right.
And it's there to provide a function and a feature to help cross-chain swap. Basically, similar to Rune, you're trying to trade a cross-chain without a bridge, without synthetic wrapped assets going across a bridge. Basically, you're helping for native swaps. It's very interesting technology. If these can continue to grow and improve, that's what's going to help. Yeah, it's traded on a lot of DeFi, but also KuCoin, Bybit, Gate. I think I saw Crypto.com potentially.
Interesting. Okay.
If you can see if these products continue to get better, they use automated market makers if they can for the liquidity. So if they have liquidity and speed, and I heard Rune was adding, I think I mentioned this already, limit orders and things like that as well. They could start to compete, not be as fast, not be quite as good yet as centralized products. But if DeFi can continue to improve to where it's competitive with centralized products and has other desirable features that CeFi lacks, it's going to be very interesting as we move into 24 and 25.
Can I ask you, what are your thoughts on Kujira? Have you looked at Kujira? It's like a layer 1 on Cosmos.
Is it KUJ?
Yeah, Kuji is what its ticker is. Let's punch this in here.
I think I haven't looked at it much. I've heard of it.
Well, the reason why I was kind of looking at it, I've seen a lot of people talking about it recently. It had a really good resurgence. I'll maybe move my face out of the way so we can see this a little better. This is the all-time graph, though. It's recaptured right around its initial release level, $382 million market cap. It is a layer 1 on Cosmos, so it doesn't have that portion of it. We have these side things that don't mean anything.
I like Biscuit. It's Godzilla's cousin. That's exactly what I was thinking.
Well, like the name was sick, first of all. Then you got this sweet freaking logo, whatever this thing is. I mean, I chose Polygon at like a few cents literally just because of the logo.
Really?
So,
hey.
Yeah. Sometimes I send it that way. But
you got to play to win, right?
You got to F about to find out. And then, we had this from Lark Davis. I'll pull this up as well. Injective talking about integrating Solana tokens, allowing for the Solana ecosystem like Pyth to be seamlessly accessed through that hub and bridge. He's feeling bullish on that. I mean, what are your thoughts on that, TJ?
No, that's good. I mean, it's again showing more cross-chain interoperability. This is one of the big things that has been missing across the blockchain space for quite some time. It's part of the trilemma, interoperability. You've got that, and I will say this is an interesting thing if you're an ETH bull, which I am. I love me some Ethereum, but the more you start to see interoperability between different blockchains, I do think that chips away a bit at the moat that Ethereum has, which right now it is the fully built out ecosystem. You know? And if you can start to get stable coin liquidity across a lot of these different platforms where you can use USDC natively, you can use USDT, you can go straight from Bitcoin to Ethereum, you can go straight from, again, into using Cosmos or Rune or INJ. And now I think INJ does still use bridges. So that's a little bit different. But the more that they can make that interoperability process seamless, the more innovation we're going to start to see, because the liquidity can move between these protocols much better than it can right now, where it just gets locked into one ecosystem, and it takes a pretty sophisticated user to know how to bridge and move out. When dApps are moving cross-chain without the front end user really realizing it, that's when I think some really cool innovation is about to start to flow.
Absolutely, man. And then also, speaking of bridges, this makes me feel uncomfortable. I wanted maybe your guys' opinion on this. What's that?
Oh, I thought you were going to pull up the Golden Gate Bridge.
No, we're not going to San Francisco.
My bad.
This is from Nico Z, talking about November's biggest hacks. 3 out of the 5 are related to Justin Sun's
look at
platforms.
that.
Yeah, I pulled that up. Yeah, because Josh was doing a video on that just the other day. Go ahead. Yeah.
I mean, what do you got, Josh? So lay it on me. What's the deal with this?
Guys, Justin Sun's like the best hopscotch player in terms of money laundering there is in the ecosystem. So, DeFi hacks are just going to happen all the time on a lot of these lending platforms, specifically to Suns. If you pull up let's pull up that image again. So I don't want to misspeak on the other ones that aren't a part of his network, but like the Polynex, like in these bridges that are within certain realms and certain ecosystems, sometimes the hacks are very convenient because you don't necessarily know who's doing the hack, and all of a sudden there's money flowing to other systems. So you'll see 100 million move from one area, and all of a sudden it just goes and disappears. And there's a lot of convenience around with that.
I love the way you say it again. How do you say it? You say I always say Poloniex. How do you say it?
Poloniex.
Poloniex. Yeah, it's
Poloniex?
cool. I mean, I don't know which one's
Poloniex.
accurate, but I always say Poloniex.
You guys are gonna have to keep me honest about how to say things. I slaughter words.
Yeah, well, I do too. So that's
Polo.
why.
It might be Poloniex. Either way, it's.
I don't think it matters.
Yeah. Either way, there's $100 million hack. So,
Yeah,
you
exactly.
know,
It's an exchange Justin Sun bought, big hack, strangely, and then Huobi, which now is HTX. It's the other one on there. Justin Sun owns or operates or advisor or whatever you want to say. Big hack, money missing there. Kyber Swap, one of the bigger DeFi or swap sites or whatever. Big hack there. And again, the theory is here. What we're noticing is the thing that's consistent is Tether ends up going missing, and it ends up showing up just where he needs it at just the right time. And it like Josh said, it's a little too convenient. And in the overarching theory is basically he's extracting real Tether from users on these different exchanges, pushing it through Just Lend and replacing it with ST Tether, which is basically synthetic Tether, not real Tether. Very similar to what another curly-haired exchange operator, Sam Bankman-Fried, was doing with using user funds for his own DeFi protocols and his own DeFi things. And what's actually sitting on the exchange is not what the users think it is. It's not very clearly delineated that it's not, it's synthetic Tether, not real Tether. So it is a little Ponzi-ish. Now, lucky for him, we're in a bull market, not a bear market.
Yeah,
so,
it's exactly 2008 financial crash. If you have ever watched The Big Short in like playing the Jenga building, it's the same thing. They're rewrapping terrible projects and terrible debts, and then they're just repurposing it and then reselling it. And that's what they're doing with this constant cycle. And one day they're way over collateralized, and you expect them to completely fall out. But CZ was taken out. I expect Justin Sun is just right around the corner. We'll see his excellency probably behind some bars here soon, but we'll see.
Dude, and well, look, and JP Morgan's celebrating this. Look at that. Look at that.
Isn't that
They're
convenient?
celebrating, hailing the game-changing U.S. settlement against Binance in the crypto industry. Basically just expressing a positive outlook with recent settlement between Binance getting rid of CZ and the U.S. government, highlighting its beneficial impact on forcing countries to follow its sanctions across the globe on both the current cryptocurrency sector and the exchange itself, according to a research report released this Thursday. This involvement of the major asset managers like BlackRock and Fidelity in the process of approving their spot Bitcoin ETF just in time to destroy the competition with the SEC in meetings that were being had all while this went on. And also, this morning I was about to go nuts and rant about the fact that our Pentagon failed a 6th audit right at the beginning of all of this breaking loose 1 week ago. And
if you really think about it, though, it was a win. They got closer to finishing it.
Yes, they did.
Right? Is that how it works?
Did.
I'm getting closer to paying my taxes every year. I'll get there. I'll get
Yes.
there. I'm just kidding. I'm someone that actually pays my taxes.
you get points for trying, huh? Yeah, that'd be funny.
Yeah, but there's so many things are lining up that it was just kind of coordinated with the CFTC, the Treasury, and our government world police action. So it's kind of sketchy to be consolidating all the way down to Coinbase and BlackRock and Fidelity, all these gigantic corporations. Yeah, they'll probably pump our bags in the next bull market like crazy, but then I wonder about the long-term. My God. Ah! There he is. I love this. BJ's in the computer somewhere. I can't see him there.
Just how he likes it.
Yeah, just how he likes it. But yeah, there is danger there with BlackRock moving into the game. They've been known to manipulate markets heavily for reasons not seen until decades after it's done. So what you got?
No, I was just going to say Mario, how do you say that? Catanese says, let's get 178 likes for the Druth. I like how specific that number is. So I think we have about 200 people in here right now. If you guys could smash that like button, that would be awesome because Drew deserves it. One of the hardest working content creators in the game. The Basement, one of the most chill communities where we just hang out and talk about our favorite degen coins. So love all you guys. Have missed you guys for a while. So fun being back.
I absolutely love the community, man. And through all the chaos, we stood focused. We made some great moves, some great picks. We insulated, you had the theory of insulating ourselves to Bitcoin and Ethereum. I was already there. So I was like, oh yeah, I guess I agree with you because I'm already doing that. And then lo and behold, things worked out really well if you follow that pattern. So PETA got margin called by Twitter. Fat fact checkers here.
Whoa.
So,
Whoa.
we're lucky turkeys would never do this to us. You don't have to do it to them either. Okay, this is their post.
Okay.
And then, fact checked. Turkeys are not vegetarians. Turkeys eat mice, lizards, frogs,
Oh, shoot.
and just about anything they can fit in their mouth. Turkeys were larger or had the technological means to farm and eat humans. Their current diet reveals they likely would.
Got him.
I like seeing that.
Gotta love the community notes on X. That's so good. Yeah.
It's just the logic behind the people that made that post. Like, just go back to 7th grade or something and learn about even photosynthesis and how plants, consume other things as well.
Yeah.
It's just part of nature, man.
I mean, nature's brutal, guys. If you haven't noticed, nature is very aggressive and violent.
I'm not cool with did you see the monkey news today with like the DNA alter where they combined 2 different species together to genetically alter and test like brain damage and stuff?
That's a little sketch.
That's where we're getting to that's borderline very unethical.
Yeah, we're gonna end up with Planet of the Apes if we're not
Yeah,
careful.
yeah. It's
Well,
it's a more human-like monkey, and it's weird.
Sam Bankman-Fried had an island where he was planning to genetically modify humans at, remember?
It's coming, guys. I mean, there are people out there doing crazy stuff. Yeah, like I could definitely see some kind of humanoid ape type thing that they stick some kind of AI chip in, and then all of a sudden, here we are with our very own cinematic remake.
Yeah.
So
It can happen.
Morel, we haven't heard anything from you. What kind
up?
of coins? What's on your radar right now? I know you watch tons of crypto content. What type of projects? Anything sneaky on your radar right now?
So I am huge on AVAX.
AVAX.
Okay.
Somebody else mentioned that in the chat earlier. Somebody was asking, what? So you're bullish on AVAX?
I'm bullish on AVAX, but
Yeah.
I'm also bullish on finding the coins within the ecosystem and pumping. Like I think when Solana started to pump last week or a little while ago, a coin called Selenium had a small market cap and it pumped last bull run. I think it went up by between 200 and 600%. While
Really?
Solana went up, its gains up to 60, $70.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like on page 9 of Crypto Bubbles. But
Okay.
I remember when Solana was pumping last bull run, Selenium came out of nowhere and had 1,000% gains in a couple of weeks. So I did the same exact thing.
Okay. That's what I was thinking with the Solana pick.
Well, no, I mean, I like. They said push the mic a little closer if you can.
Get up in there.
But I like the Avalanche pick. Somebody, I think it feels like it's getting ahead of the curve on being the gaming project narrative. I mean, a lot of the different Web3 games on Avalanche, so could be interesting to see that one run.
Yeah. Well, speaking of genetic modification, Sam Bankman-Fried, I can't let this go.
Yeah, get in there.
Look at this. He is trading mackerel for haircuts in prison. This is just makes me feel wholesome and well at night. Just knowing that he's having to barter mackerel for haircuts while in prison. I really wonder where Sam Trubrocco is, though. I really wonder.
He's out there on the boat, man. He's laughing all the way to the bank. He's like, I got out just in time.
I know.
Or maybe he set the fuse and ran away. You know?
Potentially, huh? Maybe that's the reason why he hasn't gotten anything. He was the whistleblower within.
There's a couple, Dan Friedberg and Sam Trubrocco. Somehow they were right there in the center of the action. Dan Friedberg, I don't know how he's not in the he's been in the middle of controversy multiple times, but Sam, Brett Harrison got out of there in time too, but Sam Trubrocco was one that he definitely knew everything that was going on. It's very unlikely he wasn't playing a part in some of those transactions and some of those core decisions. Right. So yeah, he's hanging out on a boat, laughing all the way to the bank. He's probably staying in some real estate in the Bahamas or something. I don't know.
It's kind of like Jed McCaleb. He just got away from Mt. Gox and sold off all his Ripple and funded an entirely same project.
Yeah, right in the nick of time. Got super rich, but didn't have to deal with any of the fallout.
So people get like super rich and then they run away when they're at risk.
Right on cue.
Oh, okay. I don't know where that came from.
Oh God.
I almost had a heart attack this weekend because Elon Musk posted something that was super sketchy and made me feel like I was right about something I didn't want to be right about, and that is us achieving singularity ahead of time. And this is Elon Musk talking about, there's a very cryptic message he put up just about this being extremely concerning. Look into what's concerning. Why is this concerning? Researchers warned the board members of OpenAI about a breakthrough ahead of the CEO Sam Altman's ouster.
Yeah, I talked about this a little bit.
Yeah. This is not good if it's true. Several staff researchers wrote a letter to the board of directors warning of a powerful artificial intelligence discovery they said could threaten humanity. Two people familiar with the matter told Reuters. Again, this is rumor mill stuff, but I did make a video about this potential being a reality a few months ago, highlighting some reports. I think it was out of the Wall Street Journal. A couple of mainstream media companies were highlighting massive leaks within OpenAI that they had actually achieved emotion and things of that nature within their AI system. And then seeing the fact that Microsoft didn't want to let Sam's talent go fully, and they wanted to hire him onto this research team subsidiary and still be connected to the overall project, and the kind of nature of his ouster, this, if is the case, makes a lot of sense. Kind of sketchy. If we do have that happen.
I did see. So that was my theory when it came out, that there was a big apparently security data breach that happened, and they cut off all Microsoft employees from ChatGPT.
Yes.
And they didn't really give a lot of explanation. And then not long after that, that's when the removal happened. I'm wondering if, and this is not long after they had just pushed an update.
Right.
So I'm wondering, they push an update, they discover a massive vulnerability that could threaten almost, like they're saying, threaten humanity. It's, that's a little bit dramatic. And again, this is this is all alleged. It's just interesting timeline though. That makes a lot more sense than all the craziness that's been out on the internet.
Right.
Here's another fun fact that could tie into your theory of that could set the stage for a upcoming cyber pandemic that they come back to. Hey, this happened. We didn't realize that the AI got away back at the end of, right at the end of 2023, right around the time that Pegasus system launched. And now all of a sudden it's infiltrated all of our banks and all of our finances and all of our core infrastructure, and there's nothing we can do. Everybody go inside and turn off everything.
Dude.
I don't know. That's way out there, but there you go for the conspiracy theory people.
It's potential.
Cyber pandemic 2024, 2025. All comes back to OpenAI.
We just go back to Neanderthal.
Yeah, security breach. So.
Better know how to make a forge then if that's that case. But we've had a fun time. This is a good show.
Oh man, that went quick.
It did. It went by quick. We had a good time. Absolute savages, awesome people in the chat. And in the comments, in the description, obviously check out all our links. But let me know what your projects that you're watching within the Solana ecosystem or the Ethereum DeFi realm, or if you have your favorite layer 2s, bring them on up to me. Even if it's a chaotic meme coin, I may hate it. I might like it. If it's not an unreasonable graph and a decent amount of liquidity. But absolute savages here in the chat. Shake and bake, thanks for stopping by, and the baklava was delicious. Alexander G, the absolute OG, Meek Vision, Isaiah Pearson, we have Nicole Ministator. Hope you're feeling better. Nicole, little sick. Miro Cantonese, 2 personas, and we got Discover Crypto. Is that Nick trolling us in the chat?
Who knows? Granny's Garden, Faden, Trey Fi, C90 for the win. Shout out to all of you guys. Happy Black Friday. Go out there and scoop your favorite coins. And like Drew said, let us know in the comments what your projects are. Smash the like button on the way out. Tell somebody something you're grateful for today. And let's keep stacking crypto.
Peace out.